You see, the tracking can only report on your spending habits. It's not going to save you any money magically if you don't take action on the spending that you already did. Are you paying yourself month to month? My future self is a mean taskmaster. He demands that I put a certain amount of money in certain accounts that yield interest and accounts that are profitable every month, consistently. If you didn't have a finance tracking app and you just had the discipline to know that you should only eat out twice a month and to save and invest the interest that you would have paid into high yielding accounts, you would find yourself in a better position. Finance apps aren't magic. Why you're a broke loser? Now, that's a little bit of a shocking statement. You are a broke loser. It's kind of a shocking statement. It's sort of clickbaity. It's gimmicky, but it is true. And there are reasons for that. 5 of them, actually. One that almost no one talks about, as a matter of fact. If you know what they are, particularly this undiscussed reason, you can't overcome them and thus stop being a broke loser. Let's dive into them immediately, shall we? First things first, you prioritize things that don't matter. There are a couple of skills that all successful people master. Of them, prioritizing and focusing are among the most important. You need to understand that things you prioritize in your life are the things that will get the most attention from you. Now, there are lots of things people focus on, things that don't really get them a lot in their life. TikTok challenges, prank videos, sliding into the DMs of Instagram models. Do you have your priorities in place? I can go on and on about things that people focus on that are not necessarily getting them the most out of their own life. Some of them are important, some of them are not so important. If you focus on those things and you prioritize on them solely, then you're not focusing on the things that really move the needle for you. So the question is, do you have your priorities in place on the right things? For example, upskilling yourself via college, online courses, certifications. If you have those things, are you continuing your growth? For example, are you working with a career coach, working with a style consultant? Are you getting extra certifications? Do you attend seminars? Are you becoming a subject matter expert in the field of your choice? How many masterminds are you attending? Are you niching down in your craft, or are you generalizing? Now, there are a couple schools of thought on niching down versus generalizing. I'm not gonna get into that in this video. It's really a separate video for a separate time. Like and subscribe. But once you do get that focus, another reason that you're a total loser is that you don't focus on your priorities. Focus and priorities, well, they have a yin and a yang relationship with one another. If you don't maintain consistent focus in one area, you'll never grow in that area. You'll constantly be context switching. And the reason that context switching is so bad is that the energy that you take to focus in one area, it takes more work to switch your focus and to then focus and put your energy in another area and then switch that focus again and get it onto another area. It's very similar to the now debunked philosophy of being a multitasker, that you're good at multitasking, which is not really true. You probably would be much better if you focus on one task and one task alone than if you were to consistently multitask and switch from task to task to task, getting out of your flow, getting out of your rhythm each time. And the reason that a lot of people nowadays change focus and switch focus is mainly because of social media and the newly reignited concept of FOMO, or fear of missing out, particularly in the finance and entrepreneurial space. You see, folks in this space, folks that like to watch channels like this, they like to look and learn about new techniques to grow their wealth or to start a new business or become an entrepreneur. Things like the 4-hour work week and passive income, things like that really inspire folks that like channels like this and others to become the best versions of themselves. And in the process of doing that, really try one thing and then another thing, and then another thing. For example, your YouTube channel is not taking off. Well, now it's time to switch to TikTok. Well, my TikTok channel is not really working out either, so maybe it's time to switch to Instagram Reels. Well, actually, none of my video content is taking off. Maybe I should be blogging or getting on Twitter more. Blogging and Twitter's not working out. Maybe I'll try Substack. Substack's also not really doing that great. Let me try Medium. Well, it seems like blogging and video is not really my forte. Let me start a print-on-demand t-shirt business. Well, that's not bringing me the revenue that I thought it would either. Let me try Shopify to get this thing going. Well, it turns out that Shopify doesn't have all of the things that I need in terms of logistics to help move my product. I need to be on Amazon FBA. Well, actually, none of that's working out. Maybe I should start selling PDFs on Pinterest. You see what I mean? There's literally probably millions of ways to make a little extra money here and there and to be online and earn income online. But the real key to success is to focus on one area, maybe 2, maybe 3, and to build the momentum and to build the skill sets in that 1, 2, or 3 areas and get that flywheel going. And the concept of flywheel here is important because flywheels are generally hard to start moving. It takes a lot of energy initially to get them going, but once they do get going, they begin to carry their own momentum with little input from you to keep them moving. That applies in the entrepreneur and finance space, in that when you focus in on an area or 2 or 3 and really key in on those areas, you then build the skills, the contacts, the momentum to keep that cycle going with little extra input from you. And it then becomes a virtuous cycle, sort of the kind of cycle that enables the rich to get richer. You see, they've started and are maintaining their own virtuous flywheel of success, their own virtuous success cycle, unlike the broke loser cycle that you're on right now. The most pathetic mode of transportation, because you have no focus and you don't prioritize that focus. And thus you have no skills, you then stay broke. You then get into debt, and then you rinse and repeat infinitum till the end of your days. That is, my friends, the broke loser cycle, not the virtuous money cycle. You need to break that first cycle and jump onto a mode of transportation that will take you places. That starts with picking one thing, mastering it, back to priorities. And then when you have mastered it, then you can start on other trending topics that sort of align with that first thing that you mastered. Trust me, if you're not really good at one of those things and you jump from thing to thing to thing, you'll always start off fresh. And you'll never have subject matter expertise in any one area. And that expertise is where the cachet begins to start to make the kind of money that will take you to the right places. Another reason why you're a broke loser is you don't evaluate yourself. Whatever is measured is managed. Are you evaluating your progress in whatever you do? Are you then taking action on what you just learned to move in the right direction? Let's take this back to your finances, as this is a finance channel. Are you tracking your spending? I'm not here to give you an affiliate link to this app or that app. There's literally a million of them, and all of them work in different ways. The question is, are you using them? When you see that you spent too much money on dining out in month A, did you adjust your spending in month B? You see, the tracking can only report on your spending habits. It's not going to save you any money magically if you don't take action on the spending that you already did. Are you paying yourself month to month? What do I mean by that? You see, I pay myself, specifically my future self. My future self is a mean taskmaster. He demands that I put a certain amount of money in certain accounts that yield interest and accounts that are profitable every month. Consistently. Are you paying your future self consistently every month? Sure, you may have a Robinhood, Webull, whatever account or app on your phone. And when you hear of some hot stock or some crypto, you buy in. But are you doing that consistently? And hopefully on more regularly profitable enterprises. When you do that and you make mistakes, do you make those same mistakes, or do you learn from them? Do you tweak your strategy or change it wholesale and move forward? This is typically where most people fall short. And what I mean is the discipline to do the right thing once you have all the facts. The truth is, if you didn't have a finance tracking app and you just had the discipline to know that you should only eat out twice a month and only spend on a credit card for your typical bills and to pay that off month to month every time, and to save and invest the interest that you would have paid into high yielding accounts and or investments like ETFs or index funds that hold S&P 500 style indexes, you would find yourself in a better position. Finance apps aren't magic. In fact, they can only really help you if you have the discipline to change your habits once you've determined a bad pattern is forming. But evaluating yourself goes deeper than that as well. It includes evaluating your skills. Do you have a marketable skill? Well, how do you know? Well, you would know if someone is paying you for that skill. Now, that is one way to measure if you have a marketable skill or not. But if the answer is no, then you certainly have to make sure that you get the skills that pay the bills and beyond. But if you do have a marketable skill and someone is paying you for it, how do you get to the next level? Do you even know what the next level looks like? There is a lot of talk about being self-employed, having an online business, entrepreneurship, etc. But in most cases, all of those pathways is going to be a little bit rough, so I hope you're sitting down. They're typically larger hassles than having a marketable skill and putting it to use for someone else who can pay you, and then just purchasing a business that already cash flows through the stock market or the private markets. Now, I don't want to throw shade at any of those paths. I've been an entrepreneur in the past, and I hope to be an entrepreneur in the near future. But far too many people see them as an easy way to make money, and they are not by any means. Coming up with products and services that people actually want is a very hard and a very rigorous process. Sure, there are examples of people who get lucky with a product or a brand or two, but more than likely, the people who really make it online, well, they're the people who really put in the work, the product research, sourcing the material, lining up manufacturers, etc. ad nauseum to really get something that people want to buy. What you should do is level up your skills, work for them, learn how they did it. Now, don't steal their idea, but find the niche, the next crack in the wall, the next trend, and then deliver a product or service that satisfies it yourself. Now, that's all part of evaluating yourself, your market and your niche, and adjusting your plan moving forward. One thing you notice about the folks that really make it and really have a thriving, successful life is that they don't take the typical path, and that is typically what differentiates them from you. In other words, you're a broke loser because you don't risk enough. There are a lot of risky moves out there that you can take, investing in single stocks instead of index funds and ETFs. Well, that's very risky, particularly if you, like many people, invested in the FANG stocks the last couple of years. Those FANGs are pretty toothless right now, I must say. But that's the point. In the long run, 5 to 10 years, those stocks and the companies that they are shares of, well, they'll probably be doing just fine. But many people, well, they cut and run the moment things got a little rough. My particular strategy when I invest in stocks is that I'm going to put enough research behind company A or company B that when I go in on that stock, I have so much faith in it that I want to go down with the ship, as it were. Whether I put in $10 or $10,000 or $100,000, because I understand that the risk is going to be there and that my analysis might be wrong. But if it's right, then the upside is going to be tremendous. It also gives me diamond hands. There is no market condition that will get me off a particular position once I've made my decision. But that decision, it only came after considerable sweat equity has been paid on the research side, which comes back to priority and focus. That's the same with crypto, mostly. I got lucky with Bitcoin when it was only $300, and it happens to be my best investment to date in terms of percentage gain. But for other coins and tokens, I have the same philosophy, which, as it turns out, means I don't really invest in much cryptocurrency, because I don't really feel like it in the long run. Crypto should really be worth much more than fiat currency. Separate topic, separate video. But risking is so much more than what stocks or crypto you pick, and sticking with it with rock solid diamond hands. Are you playing it safe with your choice of a major in college? You might be good at it, but it might also be too easy, and thus that means a lot more people can do it. Thus meaning it's not going to be as lucrative for you in the long run, meaning it's not going to take you to places that you want to go. Are you comfortable at your current job? Sure, it may pay the bills. It may pay more than the bills actually, but is it putting you on the trajectory to ultimately hit your goals? Are you putting yourself in a position to get the next job that is really going to set you up for success? Are you satisfied with your 401k? Maybe you have a little in there, maybe you have a lot in there. But if you have a lot in there, you're in a position to really turn your life and your finances into something that you likely only dreamed of. But it will be risky, and there will be very real risk of failure. Can you accept that risk for the much greater reward that could possibly be on the other side? Now, that's a specific technique that is seldom talked about, much like the last reason why most people are broke losers. You save too much. That's right, you heard me. You save too much money. I've heard this discussed in some circles, but it isn't talked about nearly enough. Once you have a suitable emergency fund, put that into a CD that matures into a savings account, or perhaps you put it into a CD ladder. Now there's a saving technique that's worth talking about a little bit more. Like and subscribe. But once you've saved up a certain amount of money, particularly for an emergency fund, you need to focus like a laser on less saving and more investing. Saving and getting your credit in order is a great way to build up your financial muscles. But once you've built those muscles, you need to exercise them to grow your wealth. Have your emergency fund built up. Also save to be great at credit. But the bulk of the money that you pay yourself should be towards investing. Now your risk tolerance is going to determine what type of investments those should be. That can include investing in a business opportunity that presents itself to you, owning cash flowing real estate, rental houses, or getting into a franchising opportunity of some sort. It can also include investing in the stock market. I spoke about that a little bit earlier, but depending on your risk tolerance, your knowledge and your skill, your strategy for navigating that could be wildly different. But the point is, you should be investing more than you're saving if you don't want to be a broke loser. If you need to know more about building up your saving muscle so that you have the skills to invest, take a look at the video you see on your screen right now. And remember, a goal without a plan is a wish, and a goal with a plan and no action is a wish list. Like, subscribe, click the notification bell, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.